Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make this ring here. It's so neat looking. The bead in the center is so incredible. It is called a Czech dome bead, and it's etched glass or acid wash, whatever they call it. I've seen different companies call it different things. It has an AB finish on it, and underneath there is silver foil, and it just has the most amazing color and effect. I don't know if my camera is showing it, but looking at this bead, it reminds me of a snow globe. It looks like there is a blizzard going on in this ring, and so I'm thinking I might call this snow globe ring because that's what it makes me think of. And also I have these little miyuki teardrops here, and it has a snowflake shape to the outer edge. If it was all white, it would be totally even more awesome, more snowflake globe-like. And when I take the ring off, the base of this ring has a snowflake underneath. Now I made this here with these beads. They're called spear beads. They have 3 holes, and when I put 6 of them together, I got that snowflake shape, and then I continued to decorate it. And I don't know, I'm kind of seeing a snow globe, I don't know, something wintry, very winter looking. Anyways, see how these beads here flip up? When I first designed this ring, I put 8 seed beads there, and it looked really good. But then when I had done it with the 8 I saw this, I'm like, wow, this is like snow globey, and I'm like, if I put drops there, it'll have a snowflake shape. So I did that. So you do have alternatives. You can do 8 seed beads in place of the teardrops, or you can do the miyuki teardrops. So, anyways, I love this ring so much that after I first designed it, because I already made it with these beads, I wanted to make it again. I wanted to have a pair of these rings because it is so cool. It's very different. I love the huge center bead, and it's just really neat. So I went into my stash, and I was looking for 2-hole lentils, and I thought that I had like a good amount of them, but I actually don't. Very sad collection of 2-hole beads. Most of them is like sample stuff from subscriptions. I only had 1 actual strand of 2-hole lentils. But anyways, I found these 2-hole lentils that are pink. I barely had enough of them to make the ring. I only have 1 that's left over. And these lentils, the hole in them, the holes, are really close together. So looking at the original lentil, the one that I see everywhere, the holes are very close to the edge. Do you see that? But this pink lentil, the holes are close together in the center like a button. So I used it anyway, and it did change my original design a little bit. So I had to use bigger seed beads here at the edge, 8 and I had to do a little tweaking here and there to make it work. So hopefully when I remake this ring, it's gonna work, because I had to change it because of the lentil being weird. So anyways, I'm making this ring using a subscription box. I'm using the Potomac Beads Best Bead Box XL. I got it late last month in December, and I'm sure it's gone now. It's all sold out. But whenever I do that, whenever I do a tutorial with a subscription box, the box always sells out, and sometimes it's so popular that they end up putting different beads in there because they run out of beads. And so when I do a subscription, that kind of makes it a pain, because if you get the box and you don't have the same exact beads because they ran out and they had to do something else in the box, then you can't make the project. And also, I've experienced that sometimes the multi-hole beads will have blocked holes, or some will be broken. And so whenever I do a tutorial using a subscription box, what I love to do, instead of recommend that you go get the box, if you didn't already get the box at the same time I did, I like to make up a list of materials that I'm using from the box, and then I post all the materials down there so you guys can go straight there, get the exact materials you need to make this project, and you can do any colors you want, and you can make more than one, because if you're like me, sometimes when you make a design, if it's a good design, you want more than one, right? And so I actually did not have enough in the box to remake a second ring. I didn't have enough lentils. I had lentils that were very defective, and so I couldn't use these. So that's why I had to go to my box, and I ended up making this one here. So let's go ahead and go over the list of materials you will need to make this ring. You will need to cut 4.5 feet of 8-pound fireline right there. I'm using white because I'm doing the white beads, as you can see. You're also going to need a size 10 beading needle. I'm using Tulip. They are the best needles. And you will also need a 14 by 8 millimeter Czech dome bead. So right there, the back, as you can see, is silver. It's very frosty, acid wash or etched glass, whatever you want to call it. AB finish on top. And I'm also using these spear beads. I'm using 6 of them, and they have 3 holes, and I'll show you the holes like that. See that? Very cool bead. I like that a lot. And also I'm using 12 2-hole lentil beads, 18 3mm Czech fire polish beads. I'm using 6 3.4mm miyuki drops. These are optional. Like I said, you can do 8-0 in place of them. You do not have to have these. But if you want more of a snowflake look, then go with the miyuki teardrops. You're also going to need 8-0 seed beads and 11-0 seed beads. And I'm using miyuki in both. I think if you try to change the name brand for this design, you might not get the same results. So you're probably going to want to stay with miyuki or maybe even czech for this ring. But we'll see how it goes, because like I said, the lentils made me have to alter my design a little bit to get it to work. So let's go ahead and do this. It's going to be a very fun project. To start this ring, I'm going to pick up a spear bead, and I'm going to go through this outside hole there. Okay, slide my bead down. This bead will be my anchor. Slide it down. And then go back through the bead, but go through the middle hole there. Ow, I just totally poked myself. Okay, and we're going to measure a 6-inch tail. So I go like this. I want a 6-inch tail because that's like the perfect amount of thread to go back and tie knots. Okay, so what I have, I'm going to tie a surgeon's knot, so over and under, pull that down, then over and under twice, 1 and 2 times, pull that tight. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to take and go through this bead, that hole right there, and I'm going to pick up all of my spear beads. Okay, going through the side holes, not the center, but the side holes, like that. Slide all of them down. Okay, to make this tight, I have to pass through all of them again, which can be kind of tricky. I actually wondered if I should have used, what are they called? Demi beads in between these so they lay better. But after I do these beads, they sit perfectly, so I ended up not doing it. So I'm going back through all of them again. Okay, making this into a circle like this. Okay, and then going back through the first one like that. Don't want to catch that tail. Okay, and pulling that tight. So now I have my little snowflake here. Now this tail right here, I cannot leave this tail because there's no way that I will be able to come back to this later and go through some beads because it's going to be too tight at the bottom. So what I do is I take the tail, okay, coming out that first hole where the other one's coming out, and I'm going to go through this hole. So weave through like that, okay. And then I'm going to take it and go through the next hole up there. So later on, when I go to tie this off, it will be easier for me to work with. Okay, flip this over. I'm going to pull this tight again. I have to take my needle and go through the middle now. Okay, so I'm in the same bead. I just did a little U-turn there. Okay, and then let's see. I'm gonna flip this in this direction because I like to work it this way. Take this bead, coming out here, go through the middle bead. Like that. It fills the gap perfectly. And then pick up another, go through the next one here. Pops right into place. So these beads is what stabilizes our snowflake, makes it stay flat, makes it tight. Pick up another. We're just going through the middle holes here, filling in the gaps. There we go. We're almost there. Once we get all of these in, we're going to add our dome bead. Now I have got other dome beads from Potomac in the past. I went into my stash and I found them, but they were much smaller, and I like this size much better because it's a 14. I said, yeah, 14 by 8 millimeter. It's more like a Rivoli. So I'm going to pass through this spear bead and through the next 3 millimeter bead there. Yeah, so this dome bead, I kind of found it to be similar to a Rivoli. And I do wonder if a Rivoli could be used in there, but probably not, because of the height of this. It might not work. There might be open like pockets in there. I've experienced that before when trying to use different ones. So, but maybe if you had a cab in your stash, it might work. I don't know. It's all about experimenting. Alright, so I'm coming out of this 3 millimeter bead now, and it's time to pick up our dome. So I pick that up, slide it down. Okay, you're going to want to hold this in place, so like this. I'm going to flip it over. Okay, like that. Straight across. We're going to go through this bead, and it's on the threads on the right side, so I'm going to go through the same side over here. And I do reinforce this because this bead is quite large. Okay, so going through that 3 millimeter on this side, straight across from the other one. Stop, pull this tight, because it wants to be loose in there at the beginning. Okay, and then go through the dome, hold it in place, and then go through this bead. We're making a figure 8 is what we're doing to secure this bead. Okay, like that. And I like to reinforce it, so I go back through the dome again, through this 3 millimeter again, back through the dome, and then through the 3 millimeter. Come on, go through. Sometimes you have to go through a bead like that's in a place like this at an angle. Like going that way, it's too tight, so going through an angle is usually the best way to get through. Okay. And now, coming out of this bead, I need to get into a point of my snowflake, and I can't really do it coming straight out of here. I need to go into the spear. So I'm going to go into the spear like that. Okay, and then I'm going to turn and go through this outside hole here on the spear. And then we're going to pick up a lentil, a 3 millimeter, and a lentil. So 3 beads, just like that. And coming out of this spear, I'm going to go into the next, like that. I'm going to do this all the way around. Lentil, 3 millimeter, lentil, I was going to say spear, and then through the spear. That's what I have. It looks really cool. Same beads again. Through the spear. Lentil, 3mm lentil through the spear. Lentil, 3mm lentil through this spear. Like that. And then lentil, 3mm lentil, and then through this spear. Okay, and I'm also going to go through the lentil that's beside it if there is room. Can I get through? Yes. Okay, just wiggle your way on through. Pull this thread, pull it tight, and this is what we now have. Now I'm going to take the needle coming out of this lentil. I'm going to go through the same lentil but in the opposite hole. Go through there, but don't pull it all through quite yet, because you want to take your finger, grab this thread, pull it tight, and then slip that through, because you don't want any slack. Okay, so that's what I have. Looks good. Making sure it's tight. Now I'm going to pick up 1/8 seed bead. But I guess first I should point this out to you. Do you see how the lentils are coming here together, close together, and then there's a big gap there? Close together, big gap, close together. So right here where the lentils are close together, we're just going to put 1/8 seed bead there. Here in the larger gaps, we're going to do 11/0 seed bead, a drop, and 11/0. Alright? So this hole here gets an 8/0 seed bead. And then an 11/0, a drop, and an 11/0 goes here. Like that. An 8/0 goes here. And then we're in the wide gap again, so 11/0, drop, 11/0. Right here between these two. And this thread likes to jump in the way. He just wants, you know, be a center of attention. And then an 8/0 through this bead. And I'm actually working towards me. I always like to work away from me, but this kind of have to hold this. I guess I could flip it over though. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll flip it upside down because I like to work in this direction. So I'm going to pick up 11, a drop, and an 11. Go into the next lentil, and then again here I am where these are close together, so I have to do an 8. I might fast forward this because I'm just doing the same thing all the way around. I just might speed it up a little bit. You'll still see what I'm doing. Make sure that you pull it tight as you go. As you can see, the sides are starting to lift up, and it probably is best that I'm doing this upside down so that it lays better. Again, 11, a drop, and an 11. Okay. Through here. Pick up an 8. Through here. $11, drop, 11 through here. Hold snug. An 8. Okay, I'm at the last gap now, so I'm going to do an 11, my last drop, my 6th one, an 11, and I'm going to go through this lentil and also through this 8/0 seed bead. Okay, I'm going to fold these sides down because they curl up. They curl up on top here like a bowl, kind of. Okay, those will be flipping out. So I'm going to pull this tight so I could show you. Do you see this? The sides flip up. They stand up on one side. So make sure that yours are going up like this with the dome. Okay? Now my tail has gotten caught up in here, so I'm just going to pull this out. So it's Xing out the back side there. And then I'm going to pick up 3 8/0C beads. Okay? And I'm going to skip over that drop, skip over all of these beads, and go in through the next 8/0 like this. Okay? I'm going to do this again all the way around. I'm going to do it 6 times in total. So 3 again, skipping over all of these, in through this one. Stop, pull it tight, turn it if you need to, 3 again, in through this 8, three again, this 8, pull it tight, 3 again, through this 8, skipping over all those beads, like that, 3 again, last time actually. Okay, just like this. I'm going to go through this 8 here, and I might have to, let me see, it's not that it's tight, it's just too close together. Okay, there we go. Okay, just like that. Stop, pull this tight. Okay, and it should be closed up like this. Now I'm going to go around. I'm going to reinforce this because I do see thread. No matter how tight I pull it, I see thread. So I have to do a second row. So I'm going to pass through those 3 right there, just like that. Now on this one, when I first designed this, I just went straight through. I skipped over that seed bead, I went through these, skipped over that one, went through those, skipped over that one, went through those. I did that all the way around, okay? It zipped it up tightly. But this one, it didn't want to do it. And I knew it was because of these darn lentils that have holes that are slightly, just slightly closer together compared to these lentils. So this one, I had to add an 11/0 seed bead there, because you could see that thread. It was exposed on this one, but this one, it was not exposed. But I'm going to go ahead and try the same thing that I did on this one, and I'm going to put an 11/0 in each gap and see what it looks like, if I can do it, and if I'll have to change it. So it's kind of neat, I have to say, that this has happened, so you guys can see little things that can be done to make a project work. Okay, so I picked up an 11/0. I'm going to put it right here on top of this one. And then I'm going to do it again, an 11. Skip over this 8 and go through these 3. Doing this is bringing all these beads closer together. It's making them look tidier. And you're not seeing that thread there. Okay, so again, pick up an 11, skip over that 1, go through these 3, pull it tight, and right now it looks like it's working, but we're only going to know if it works or not when we go all the way around, because if it does this thing where it's not circular and the beads are like buckling, then we will have to remove them and just go around with the thread, not using any seed beads. So again, I picked up another bead there, putting that into place, and one more. Okay, through here. There's no way I could do this with Toho seed beads out of the way. They would be too big for this. So last one here. We're gonna see if this works. And that one's sitting funny. And it has worked. Yeah, that one there though is sitting kind of strange. So I'm gonna pull this as tight as I can. Now if you look, you do see some gaps right there, which I don't have with this one. And I talked about earlier, if I were to use a Rivoli, that could happen to me. And also I'm noticing that this one, the dome seems to be recessed more into this. And this one here, the dome is sticking out more. It actually looks better in this one. So I could remove those 11-ohs and do, like I said, without them, do the same weave I just did, but without the 11-ohs, and it would still work, and I think it kind of looks better. But I'm just gonna leave them for now. I'm actually pushing on the back here, so that kind of relaxes it. But for now, I think I'm gonna leave it like this. Okay. Now I have to reposition my needle, and I have to get out of one of these blue 3mm beads down here. So let's see, I'm gonna go through this 8/0, and then I'm gonna go down through this lentil, now I have to do a turn at a lentil to get down. If I do it here, the thread will kind of be seen because it's white and those beads are dark. I could do it like in between here because these are closer together, but in order to do that, I would have to sew down through there. So, will I even be able to do that? I don't know. I have to test it first and see if I can hide my thread. Yes, I can. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through this seed bead and through the drop. We're trying to hide my thread here. Through this 11 and through the next lentil. Okay. And then go through this lentil like that. Okay, so see my thread right there, it's looped around, but since these lentils are closer together, it's not really as noticeable as if I did it here where I have the wider gap. So now coming out of the lentil, I have to go through a 3mm check fire polish bead there on the side. Okay, that actually looks good. I think it looks better. I think maybe squishing it like that kind of relaxed it more. Maybe I had it too tight. Okay, now when I first designed this one, I had to do 2 11s, an 8/0. No wait, I did 2 11s, a 3mm, and then 2 11s. But when I did this one, because of those lentils again, I had to do an 8/0, an 11, 3mm, 11, and an 8/0. I had to change it. So I'm going to do this one the same way as this one and see if this works, or if I have to do the 2 11s. So it's just tiny little things that made a difference in this. Coming out of this bead, I'm going to skip over these lentils and I'm going to go through this one. That actually fits. I'm picking up an 8, an 11, a 3, and an 11. So right now, I'm actually wondering if maybe the thread that I used made this seem weird. So I sometimes use Nymo thread when I'm experimenting and creating designs, and that has a stretch to it, so I have realized that whenever I use that and then I go to design a piece, the fireline is super tight. It does not want to stretch at all. And that can change my design. But last night when I was working on this, I didn't use Nymo. I used a nylon beading thread, some kind of old nylon thread that I've had forever. And it didn't have stretch to it, but it was fraying on me. But I don't know, maybe there's something I did differently, and that's why I've had these weird results. So there is my sequence of beads again, and I'm going to go through this one. And then I'm going to pick up an 8, 11, and an 8. I just like to be really informative with you guys, and whenever I design stuff, I like to tell you why I'm doing it, and what happened to me, and how I got around it, because when I started making jewelry, I had a lot of issues, and there was no one that talked about the issues or showed the problems. They just, you know, act like it was perfect and everything went so well. But sometimes there's problems. So there you can see, that's what it's looking like so far on the bottom. The bottom is actually very pretty. I like how the bottom looks a lot. Okay, I'm going to pick up another 8, 11, a 3, an 11, and an 8. Like this. Go through right here. Last time. 8, 11, 8, 11, 8. Like that. Come out here, right there, and go through that next bead. Okay. And it looks awesome. I tell you, I do experience, like I run into issues and problems. I have to figure out how to get around things, but the end result always turns out pretty darn good, I have to say. That is very pretty. So to add my ring band to this, I do like the bead in the center, the hole in it. I like it to be straight with my finger, if that makes sense, just because I could see that bead, I have kind of like OCD, and I don't like it go at an angle. I want it to be straight. I want it to look really good, professional. So this one here, when I was working on this one, I had to go around, like all the way around, like halfway around, to get in place to add my band. So for example, I'm actually coming out in the perfect spot, can't believe that, but like if I came out up here, okay, and my hole's going this way, I would have went all the way around and come out over here on this side so I can add my ring band. But right now, I'm coming out of this bead right there, and my hole is here. So I actually, amazingly, I can't believe this is happening, only have to go through those two beads to be on the side of my ring. Here's to add my ring band. Okay, so I like to have the ring band coming off here so that my snowflake, the point is up and down. If you turn it this way, then it would be sideways. You would have to have the ring band come off of this point. That's too hard to do that with how that is set up there. It was weird. So I'm having it like this. I hope this makes sense. So I'm coming out of a 3mm Czech fire polish bead that has 11 O's beside it, not 8 O's beside it, but 11 O's. Okay, so it will be just like this. So pull that tight, and I'm gonna pick up an 8-0, an 11-0, an 8-0, like this. I'm gonna go through this, I have to turn this around. I'm gonna go through this 3mm, but like this in a circle, and I pull this tight first, and then I slide that through, okay, and then I weave back through this again, through this bead. And it's going to sit funny, so I have to go through the 3mm and through that 11 and out through that 8, just like that. Okay, you want to push this 11-0 seed bead up like that. I'm trying to get this to sit right. There we go. Okay, so see how that 11-0 is kind of touching that 3mm? You want it to be like that, and you want your 8-0s to stick out. So pull that tight, pick up an 8-0, go through this 8-0 that is now sticking out. Okay, like that. Pick up 2 8-0s, go down through this 8-0 here. So it sits like that, and then pick up another 8, go through this 8, 11, and I would like to go through all of them if I can, but I don't think I can because of my angle. So I'm going in this direction. Okay. Pull it tight so it sits like that, and then I have to get through this 8 and out through this 3mm. Okay, pull it tight. I'm going to pick up an 8-0 like this. I'm going to go through this 8 here, and I guess I can't go up because that angle. I just went through there. Okay, I want to come out here because I got to add some more beads here. Now I haven't pulled this tight yet, so pulling that tight, see how this folds down like that? It wants to go down, so let that do its thing, because that's the direction our ring band's going to be. It's going round. Okay, and then pick up 2 8s again, go through right here, and oh yes, I got through all 3. Just like that. Okay, stop, pull it tight. Okay, that's what you should have. Pick up an 8 again and go through this 3mm. Okay, through this 8, the 11, and this 3. Pull it tight, go straight up through these 3, like that, and then pick up 2 8s, go down through 2 8s, or down through this 8, not 2 8s, but down through that one there, and then go up through these 2 like this. Okay, so now we did the side there. That looks great. We're just going to be working on the band now. So you're going to be picking up 2 seed beads at a time. They're all going to be 8-0s, and you're going to go down through this side here, like that, and then up through 2. I love this ring band to death, by the way. It is one of my favorite ring bands to do with a 1 needle. Because the other ones that I do, I have to do with 2 needles, but it looks very even and consistent, and it's not shaped weird. Like a lot of the times when I do stitches with a 1 needle for my ring band, it's wacky looking. It does not want to lay right. It looks crazy. Okay, so that's what I have right now. I picked up 2 going down. I thought I picked up 2. Did it fall? It fell off. Okay. So going down through that 1 seed bead, stacking them, going up through the side there through 2. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this until this is long enough to go around my fingers. So again, 2 at a time, go down through here. And then don't lose your thread like I'm doing, and go up through 2. pull it tight, pick up 2, go down through 1, turn around, go up through 2, Alright, so as you can see, I now have the length that I need to close my ring up, so I'm going to pick up 1/8 seed bead. Okay? Coming out this side, I'm gonna go through, straight across, through this bead right here, okay, on this side, through this 3mm, like this. I know this looks strange. And then I'm going to pick up an 8/0 and 1/11. I'm going to sew up through this 8/0. Because on the other side we have an 11/0 there, so we have to do this. Okay. Then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through this 3mm. And then through this 8/0 and through this 8/0. Okay, and then turn around and go through these 2. Pull it tight. Just like that. Okay, then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through this 3mm, the 11/0, and out through that 8/0. Like that. Pick up an 8, go through this 8 right here, and I'm also going to go up through the next one, like that. Okay, then go down through 2 on this side, pull it tight, pick up another 8, go through this 8 in this direction, like that. Also through the 11, and if you can, through these other beads. It looks like I'm only going to be able to go through that 11. We're trying to make this side match the other side. Okay, just like that. I'm going to go through this 8 now. And through that 3mm, wiggle it through. Okay, got through. Okay, and then pick up an 8 and go through these 2 8s right here, like this. Okay, and I'm actually going to sew down again, or maybe I could go this way. I don't know. I think I want to go down. I don't know. Let's see what will happen if I go through this bead, because I can always back out. Looks like it's actually popping back in because I did that. That's good. I have to go through this 8 now, go through this 8. That looks great, okay? And then I'm going to pick up my last 8/0, go through this 4 right here. I also want to go through the 8 and the 11 beside it, but I'm not at the right angle to do that, so pull that through. And then go through the 8, the 11, and the 3 that's up here. Like that. Pull that tight. and sew up through, let's do like 3 beads. Because I did a lot of turning around right there. Okay, through 3/8. Right there. So now, look at this side of the ring. Look at this side. They match. They are the same. Try it on. And it fits. So I'm going to turn this around. And I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to pass it underneath. Just like this. Right beside where I'm coming out of. Make a loop. And pass through the loop twice. Bringing this loop down. Make sure it doesn't get caught and that your knot falls right where you need it to be. Sometimes it will jump over to the next bead and you can unpick it with your needle if you don't pull it too tight. So see right there? Pull it down. And then I'm going to go through 2 beads, depending how short your tail is. Mine actually is maybe 8-9 inches long, so I can go through 2 beads. And then I'm going to tie another knot. Go through the back. Okay, make a loop. Pass through it twice. Bring that knot down. Go through the 2 beads. Tie another knot again. You could do 1 bead at a time. You don't have to do 2. Like I said, depends on how short your tail is. You know, the shorter tail you have, you don't have much space to go. You run out of thread. So I'm going to keep going, tying my knots all the way through this. Okay, I'm going to come out here. I can come down through here, go up through this bead, turn around here, and go back down if I have enough thread and if I want to. It makes it stronger, makes it more durable. And then the other tail, so just keep going with that one, tying knots, reinforcing. The other tail, I'm coming out this spear bead. So what I have to do is put my needle on this thread. I'm going to go through this hole right there, come out here, and I'm going to go through this lentil. Okay, I need to come out that hole right there in the lentil because of where my thread's coming out at, see? Right there. I have to go through this lentil hole and then come out through this bead, and then I'm going to tie a knot right between here, come out of this bead, go through that one, tie a knot before that bead, come out of here, you could tie a knot there because that bead is longer, and you're just going to do the same thing, tying your knots. You can come up through here, weave down through this, okay, go through this bead and come down here, tying your knots. That's the path you want to go, okay, so you don't make any new thread paths. Now these beads here, they do flip up and down, so if that doesn't bother you, you know, go for the teardrops, but if it does, then go through for the 8/0 seed beads because they stay in place, but you don't get that snowflake, snow globe look that I love so much. So this is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It was a lot of fun. I really like designing this ring, and this could probably also be made into a pendant if you want to. It's pretty neat. So please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, make sure you click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and check me out on my social media sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.